There are many people, so to say, working at our youth mission, the Mente mission. For example, there are the lesser brothers, the active, voluntary serving youth of our regions. There's a team of lesser brothers in each region. The majority of them are usually young people, but there are often one or two catechists or fathers among them as well. In reality, the lesser brothers are the engine of our chaplaincy and spirituality. They are characterized by openness to anyone. Anyone can join this community who wants a better engagement and have a taste of Christian service. And there are occasional helpers who might not engage themselves towards the region in the long run, but for example make sandwiches or cake cookies in the background for the meetings. Sometimes they do it for several days in advance to be able to receive us at their table or organize some games as occasional helpers. Then come the Fisher of Men colleagues. They are pet colleagues in the youth pastor care work of the diocese, besides the youth pastor. They have the task to support the youth work as a catalyst. And there are other spiritualities as well, and religious orders, the colleagues of specialized pastor care providers, whom we occasionally cooperate with. They are a really important part of the chaplaincy. There is often an overlap between the certain areas. For example, There is often an overlap between the certain areas. For example, I'm a lesser brother and at the same time a Fisher of Men colleague as well. We also have a Fisher of Men creed.
3, 2, 1. We, Fisher of Men, believe in the mission launched and guided by the Holy Spirit, the mission which changes the world by organizing young people into communities.
There are many people, so to say, working at our youth mission, the Mente mission. For example, there are the lesser brothers, the active, voluntarily serving youth of our regions. There's a team of lesser brothers in each region. The majority of them are usually young people, but there are often one or two catechists or fathers among them as well. In reality, the lesser brothers are the engine of our chaplaincy and spirituality. They are characterized by openness to anyone. Anyone can join this community who wants a better engagement and have a taste of Christian service. And there are occasional helpers who might not engage themselves towards the regions in the long run, but for example, make sandwiches or cake cookies in the background for the meetings. Sometimes they do it for several days in advance to be able to receive us at their table or organize some games and occasional helpers. Then come the Fisher of Men colleagues. They are pet colleagues in the youth pastor care work of the diocese besides the youth pastor. They have the task to support the youth work as a catalyst. And there are other spiritualities as well, as religious orders, the colleagues of specialized pastor care providers whom we occasionally cooperate with. They are a really important part of the chaplaincy. There is often an overlap between the certain areas. For example, I'm a lesser brother and at the same time a Fisher of Men colleague as well. We also have a Fisher of Men creed.
With regards to central coordination, the head of the youth office and the central coordinator have the task to act as the right arm, the direct colleague and representative of the youth pastor.
To sum it up in a nutshell, my task is to know the ones responsible for the various areas in the entire chaplaincy, the regions, the happenings, and to facilitate that these areas serve each other and that by all means are heading towards the main objective, namely to have a Christian youth community in every settlement. For example, I participate in a lot of meetings, the ones about Mente media and leader training, or at consultations with the regional manager or volunteers. There are many areas and it's my duty to communicate the viewpoints of the others at such meetings, and to represent everybody in front of the others, and to encourage that these areas can serve each other, and that the leader training program is scheduled in a way that there are free dates and weekends for the regional meetings as well, or for parish level programs.
Her task is to organize the meetings of regional managers, diocesan or international programs. For example, the travel to the World Youth Forum.
I often go to the field. My summer is spent in camps among young people. It's also my task to talk to them, to get to know their region, their culture, or what they want, what they need during the year, or in what aspects they are planning to develop. And then in the course of the year, these should be incorporated into the discussions, and finally, the various fields should be formed on the basis of these as part of my service.
Her task is to provide a stable background, to ensure the spiritual, communicational, administrative, economic and technical background for the regions and all other areas and missions of the chaplaincy.
There are many background duties belonging to me, lots of phone calls and emailing. It also belongs to my duties to represent the diocese and our youth pastor care work together with the youth pastor at national forums, and to some extent support the countrywide youth pastor care service as well. Besides all these, I'm also the contact person with spiritualities, movements and religious orders. We need to initiate the discourse with the open ones. And in areas where there aren't any young people yet, we should try to find a way of launching communities together with our cooperation.
Her tasks also involve coordination and unification by holding the regional managers together, coordinating the colleagues working at the youth office and harmonizing the subfields of the Mente mission.
It's also my responsibility to represent unity, for example among the regions, but also between the financial department and the leader training program. To represent that the region have their own common spirituality and their special character. I have to serve this spirituality alongside with the youth pastor, so that it could be transformed, to make it alive, to live indeed up to this spirituality. But in the meantime, I shall also promote every region to grow and develop based on its own character and regional features, while preserving the individual needs. Each region is a separate culture, but the quintessence remains the same: our spirituality and God. Still, every region is completely different, and the entirety of them is really very rich.